Hey guys, this is Light, and welcome to my tier list update video. And it's been a while since the last one, so there's going to be quite a bit to go through here. And if this is your first time watching any of these videos, I'll go through the tiers real quick. But also, feel free to watch my base video for like the explanation of all like the units, because I'll only be covering the newer units in this tier list update. So yeah. So I'll go through the tiers real quick. So tier 0, pick or ban. Yeah, if you're not gonna pick this unit, you probably should ban her. She's broken. So S plus tier are the units that you want the highest priority on, and I split these up into two categories. So games when Harceti is available are much different from games when Harceti is pre-banned, because speed units are naturally much stronger when Harceti is pre-banned. And then we have S tier, so these are like the, the units that you pick alongside the S plus tier. And I actually moved a lot of units down from S tier because they're kind of hard to pick now. And then A tier, A tier is basically your like niche picks, your counter picks, like the units that like you pick last to like counter the other person's whole draft, like your 4-5 picks or like your ban protection picks. So yeah, A tier should be pretty common, and A minus tier basically the same thing except much more uncommon. And yeah, so I separated A tier and A minus tier to give you like an idea of what units to prioritize when you build units. And I put cleave units in their own tier because I feel like when cleave as a playstyle is strong, then the units are strong, and it's not really worth like ranking them unless like they're really strong outside of cleave. For example, I put Eligos and Litica in A tier because like they do have a role outside of cleave, because like these two units, they can counter Fireflan, etc. So yeah, unless you have a role outside of cleave, you're gonna be stuck in cleave tier. So anyway, let's get started with what changed since the last tier list update. So tier 0, I actually had Renek in this tier, but I'm gonna move her down to S plus tier because I feel like she's a bit easier to handle than Arunka. Arunka pretty much is like Harceti. Her passive is completely game warping. But Renek has a little bit of counterplay. Like at least you can outspeed and cleave her. At least you can mitigate her damage with Fallen Cecilia if your draft is good. Huge if, by the way. I still think like picking Renek and then post banning Fallen Cecilia no matter what is very powerful, but still, Renek is definitely a lot easier to handle, and it's like insulting to Arunka to put her in the same tier as Arunka. Arunka is basically the god of E7 right now, so yeah. And let's see. I also DJB very new unit. So in this update, it's the Aria update, and it's the balance patch units, right? Another unit that's changed a lot. DJB is actually a complete menace now. If someone picks this unit, you can no longer pick a protection set knight or else he'll kill you. Like DJB has a very big influence on the meta because protection knight on 3 is now much weaker. And people can't slam Fallen Cecilia as first pick anymore, because like they're gonna get slammed by DJB. It's actually pretty crazy. Yeah. I can't really put DJB any higher than this though, because DJB gets screwed over by people faster than him. Like, he doesn't really protect himself against cleavers very well, so I can't put him any higher than S tier, to be honest. But yeah, DJB very high presence unit. People like to pick him with Fallen Cecilia, and it's very strong. And huge thing to note about his buff is that he strips on S2, which means he removes Celine's stealth. So let's say DJB has a Fire Flan on his team. the DJB can S2, remove Celine's stealth, and then S1 her, and then kill her with Fire Flame. Like, DJB is actually quite the menace now. And, like, you'll see you'll see people playing anywhere from like 200 to 300 speed DJB, and it's actually really effective. Forcing someone to, you know, not pick mitigation knights, it makes it really easy to kill them. But with that said, there are actually a lot of people, me included, that are teching out their knights. Like, for example, I like to pick Blue Crow on 3, and my Blue Crow doesn't have protection set. So DJB is gonna be very useless against that. But yeah, he is quite the menace. And yeah, he's a cleanse, he's CR push, he's immunity buff. Like, you can strip, like he does a lot. He really does a lot. So yeah, easy S tier. The fact that he makes people adjust to him, or makes people like bring out weird tech to deal with him, that's yeah, that's just how strong he is. So yeah, easy S tier. And let's talk about the new MO5 Aria. So there is a lot of controversy behind this unit, and I am also a hater, but I think she does have a lot of spots where she's good. But I do think she's a decent unit, but her damage isn't great. But she is a debuff resistant damage dealer that's very tanky. But my only issue with her is, and this issue prevents her from being S tier. I'm sorry if you really like her, but huge issue with this unit is that she's like a rock. Like, rocks don't move. It's like that physics law where, like, you know, it needs like something to move it, and that something is typically Peyra and Politis. MO Peyra and MO Poly, I think these units are really good with Aria, because Aria's biggest issue is that she takes turns too slowly. So these units are going to give her major tempo by giving her CR push, feet buff, speed buff, to make her take more turns. Aria's glaring issue is that she's too slow. And if you build her speed, she doesn't do any damage. So like she needs outside support to help her take turns to actually do anything. So that's why she can be really good with these two units, but at the same time, what isn't good with these two openers? Like, so yeah, she has potential, but she really does not feel good. unless you're playing her with openers that give her tempo, unfortunately. But she's a thing. She's tanky. She does a bit of damage. She's resistant to debuffs. It's decent. But on her own, she's very underwhelming, and you kind of have to draft around her. So yeah, and like, I know people will be like, well, you should just stack ER with her. Well, it's not that easy. The thing about like stacking ER is that the units have to have a lot of like base damage to do that. Like, for example, Mo Shu is a really good ER unit because she does a fixed damage with like her passive, and like the injury explosion, you know, helps her do damage without having damage stats. Another popular ER unit is Bellion. Bellion does a lot of damage because 3F does a lot of damage. But now we have Aria, who doesn't really do much damage at all. Like, she doesn't really she doesn't really hold a candle to the other two. But yeah, I don't think it's a playstyle thing. I think it's all about the units you pick to support her. She's very underwhelming as a, you know, like a standalone DPS, unfortunately. And yeah, besides Aria, we had a few other balance patch units. Strays. Unfortunately, Strays is already A tier, and I cannot move him up from A tier because I feel like he's kind of the same unit, but he's a win more unit. Like when Strays will be good in the same spots he was good before, but he'll probably win if that's the case. Like in new or old Strays, they'll probably win in the same spot. The only thing different is that people can now slam Strays without there being a, you know, a low attack unit because they removed the attack condition. But I really don't think it changes how people pick him. He's just stronger when he's picked, and he's already pretty strong if he's pickable. So yeah, with that said, he can't move any higher than A tier. Like basically, if you're higher than A tier, you're like probably really broken. And let's see what else got buffed. Holiday Euphine. Holiday Euphine is actually really good against Lidica. Holiday Euphine on 3 is super good against Lidica. And if you go with like a damage artifact with like Hua Young's artifact, like she burns a lot. She does decent amount of damage to cleavers, to be honest. Yeah, I think Fire Euphine, pretty good, easy A tier. And let's see, I don't remember any other units getting buffed, to be honest. Green Charles ended up being, you know, for the stupid new PvE. Blue Tywin didn't really do anything at all. But aside from that, I also, yeah, before we had a lot of Aureus Knights, Protection Set Knights in S tier, but we had to knock them down because of DJB. And like DJB is actually really strong, and Fawn Cecilia can stay her rank. Fawn Cecilia is probably like the strongest knight right now, assuming there's no DJB in the game or DJB is on your side. So yeah, we're not gonna move Fawn Cecilia down just because like she's still really strong. She's still really strong. And yeah, I think that is about it. Unless there's a buffed unit I'm missing, but I don't think so. Yeah, I think that's about it. Let me know if you have any questions about the tiers and everything, and feel free to check out my older videos for like more explanations on the units. So yeah, thank you for watching. Hopefully it was helpful. See you next time.